Welcome to the Dinking podcast. My name is Barbara Radowski, and I'm joined by fitness icon and legend Tammy Lee Webb. And we are two fitness experts and pickleball enthusiasts who love the game. And if you leave here with one thing and one thing only, it's that dinking
is not
a warm-up. And today we actually brought in our friend Josh Ware from the Pickleball Seatbelt because he fully understands that dinking is not, in fact, a warm-up. So we had to bring in reinforcement today because dinking's not a warm up, and I can't say it any louder. I don't know if you can either, Tammy Lee, but I don't know. So
it's we're much greater with a team. So
there we go.
We've got Josh, yay! So somebody is listening.
Thank you for having me on.
Josh. So we always start the show just talking about pickleball this week. And really quick on my end, I am playing in two interleague groups. And one of the groups, it's so interesting. You guys will appreciate this. We are like in the messy middle. Last year, we got last place. Every time we played, it was brutal. It was embarrassing. It was tough. They were better than we are. And this year, so we got moved down a bracket, and now we can't lose. So it's not even, I shouldn't say it's not fun. When you do get to play some pickleball where there's this messy middle, and it's like, that's where my team is right now. Like, we're not 4.0.
So you're somewhere in between.
Between a 3.5 and a 4.0. Yeah. Like, we're somewhere in there. So
let me ask you, does it feel better being down a bracket where you're winning, or is it better that you're up and more challenging games?
You know what? I'd rather be up and lose than be down and winning.
So you think that improves your overall performance evenally?
It does, because you kind of level up. Like, you'll level up, and you figure things out. But like when you're just clean, like we pickled a couple teams, and they're like, "Nay, why are you even in this group?" Like, we got moved down to this group. Damn it, we didn't come here to do this. We got moved down. Like, everybody settle. Everybody settle down. So that was my pickleball week. We're in the messy middle right now, and we're going to start drilling. We're going to get better. So next time we get moved up next year, we'll be like, we're ready for them. What about you, Tammy Lee?
Does that movement happen? Like, how often does that movement happen?
So this league is once a year. I want to say it's once. It might be twice a year. I got here late last year. It might be twice a year. So every 6 months it gets moved. And like I said, we got dropped like a hot rock. they're going down. And we weren't happy to go down, but it was so defeating to, like, if you get more than 6 points, you get a point. So our goal, it was not even to win last year, but just get 6 points on the other team. Nice. So that's bad. That's bad.
I'm in no league, so I'm not even rated, but mine's all for pleasure and for fun. However, it does get very competitive out there, and being tonight is one of my strongest groups that I love playing with. I mean, they're all really good, but these are the girls that they're just bangers. Bang, bang, bang. It's just like you either take it or you get off the court. So
I'm not mad about the bangers.
No, I know. And I think I mentioned this before. Last week, I actually running back to get a lob, both my partner and I were, and somehow I tripped over my feet and took a big fall. And I'm really still, my body's recovering because even though I rolled, because I know how to tuck and roll, but from the shoulder, it impacted my chest, hit my knee. And then I noticed my low back has been hurting. And then I realized everything is shifted this way. So I'm sure it's in my hips. I'm doing everything I can this week to try and readjust my alignment, just to stretch and get back to a proper alignment before getting out there, which again is tonight. And and hopefully not having any falls. But
I appreciate so much like your version of a tumble and your recovery, and think about what that would be like for someone who literally went from the couch to the court and took a tumble and didn't and wasn't
they would
supported
not be playing.
No, like it's such, I mean, we're all going to take a little tumble, but how you're prepared prior to the tumble is everything. So
yes, which is what we're all talking about today, that whole warm up. And I think for warm up, like when I think of warm up For me, it's preparing to do whatever it is you're doing in a softer way, gradual. It's kind of like gradually, like you warm up a car. You let it sit for, a few minutes, let the engine go, get warmed up.
Yes.
And it actually even tells you, right? Because it will change. The engine will, okay, now I'm ready to go.
Yes.
But it's not always the same. If you don't know or understand the human body, sometimes you don't understand or know, am I ready to go and play? And most people just get out there, as we all know, and they think, like we said, Dinking's our warm up. But it's actually doing things that you're going to be doing during the game, but just as a little bit less. So
Josh, that was our frustration as fitness experts. Like, we come from an industry where you literally prepare the body for what's to come. If you're going to do X, Y, Z in a fitness class, you're going to do X, Y, Z in the warm up prior to. So we have this mentality of, prehab, prepare the body for what's to come. And we notice with pickleball, no one prepares their body for what's to come. They think, oh, I went for a jog this morning, or I took a fitness class this morning, but if nothing replicates the movement you're going to do in pickleball, then you are not warmed up for pickleball. So that's how we landed here. So Josh, give us your story. I know you're a football coach. That's kind of funny. You're a school teacher. But tell us who you are and tell us how you came up with this product, because I think it's brilliant and it aligns so much with who Tammy Lee and I are that when you messaged me on Instagram, I thought, yes, this guy has got something going. He got something good.
Well, thank you. But actually, I love what you guys said about just kind of like mimicking those movements, because like so many people think that like just a couple dinks, a couple drops, yes, you're warming up, you're getting your shots warmed up for pickleball with those things, but that doesn't mean that your body's actually warmed up. And I think there's a difference in that would be helpful for people to understand.
Yeah.
But in terms of my product, so Pickleball Seatbelt is actually a fairly new company that I started. Like you said, I'm a high school math teacher and football coach. I've been playing pickleball for about 5 years, and health, fitness, working out has always been a big part of my life. Particularly warming up and then stretching afterwards. And so as I was playing pickleball, I'd be at the courts 10, 15 minutes early, kind of going through my routine. And then I just kind of noticed, hey, people are just going out there and not doing anything. And so, I would get some questions from people, hey, what do you do to warm this up? Or, this is kind of sore. Can you help me out with this? And so that kind of got the idea in my head of I would love to give people an opportunity and knowledge and tools to, actually warm up and prepare their bodies. And the biggest thing for me is like, I feel old now, where I'm like at a point where I'm like, I don't want to get injured. Like, I don't know what that fireworks was.
I loved it. I don't know.
I don't know what that was.
It's a new thing.
Okay, when you said old, everything just went.
Everything.
Yeah.
I think it was like his hands. I think.
Maybe.
I think the phones now, when you do a motion, phones read it. It's AI. So if you guys are watching on YouTube, you saw it. But if you're listening, when he did his hands, like, I'm getting old, he got dark, and all of a sudden fireworks were behind him, as if they agreed with him. So keep going.
Yes, so, but just wanted to give people an opportunity to warm up and like, as I used to be able to just like go and play for like 6 to 8 hours a day in the summer, and now I'm just like, oh man, I'm starting to feel it a little bit more. So that's just kind of been more in my head of, okay, how can I prevent injury? How do I keep myself from being on the court? So, so I was like, hey, there's so much, you can go on Instagram or TikTok and just type in warm up, and there's a million things that will pop up. But the question then was, why, if there's all this knowledge out there, why don't people do it? So along with the tools of, these will help aid the warm up, help deepen some stretches and help, increase some mobility and flexibility. I wanted to give people, physical things in their hands that they could use as kind of an accountability measure of like, yeah, you have all this stuff, but we're not doing it. But hey, if you have these 5 tools in your bag, I think people are going to be more likely to actually use them and actually go through the warm up and and keep themselves safe. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it comes with the product comes with 5 different tools and a 10-minute guided warm up, 15 exercises to mimic those pickleball movements and get the blood flowing and the body ready for pickleball.
So if
Josh,
you could, go ahead, Tammy.
I was going to ask. So when I go to the website and look at all the videos, and you're explaining each one, are you saying that? And I think there's how many videos? You have 15 exercise videos, right?
Yeah.
So if you do each of those exercises, are you saying that it takes 15 minutes?
So I created it so that it takes about 10 minutes. The first couple times you run through it, it's gonna, you're just kind of trying to understand the motions. Maybe you're watching the videos. But
but once you get it down, about 10 minutes, right?
Yeah, because nobody wants to go and warm up for 20, 25 minutes. Like, we want to get there. We're going to play some pickleball, but let's prepare our bodies in an efficient but effective way. Yeah.
You're speaking our love language here. Well, let's go through. First of all, it comes in a really cool little bag, which I love because I'm digging anything that makes it easy to carry around. So if you're watching on YouTube, he has a bag that everything comes in. And then if you don't mind going through each of the items, and if I need to give more visual cues for people who listen on the podcast, Tammy and I can do that. But you had us at warm up, so let's go.
Awesome. So I'll go through the first one, the Flex Therapy Bar, and so this is a really good tool to warm up the wrists and the forearms. And so this is one that I hadn't really used until I started researching it, but I love it. It comes in you can buy a bunch of different resistance, but this is just a light one. But really, it's good for preventing that pickleball elbow, which is kind of becoming a little more prevalent. But also, you just think about how many times you're using your wrist for a flick or whatever other movement in pickleball, and so to be able to strengthen that and get ahead of any of those injuries, this is a great tool for that.
Is that about a foot long?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So if you're listening, it's a tube. It's a little bit weighted. It's about a foot long. It's rubber, and it's very pliable and bendable. And you just really think about starting like gassing a motorcycle.
Yeah.
There's so many things
and
you can
bends.
do with that. Yep.
Yeah. And it has the resistance in it. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, super
I love
smart.
that.
The second tool is just a kind of generic resistance band here, but it's really good for an upper body warm up. You can do lower body stuff as well. Like in my guide, one of the first, I think it's the 5th exercise. It's like ankle circles to get the ankles warmed up. But it's really good, for overhead, for
shoulder mobility.
You're talking my language with the rubber band. I wrote a book called The Rubber Band Workout, and I just in the late 80s, and I still today I carry a rubber band everywhere with me. So I was very happy to see that in there.
Yeah.
And there's so much you can do with that band. Like you've only Josh is only, you have years and years and years and years and years of content coming up with that band right there. Because when I saw that, I'm like, oh, you could add so much. That's magic, that band. Yeah. So if you're listening right now, it's one of those long, full body bands. If you stand on it, it comes up probably to underneath your armpit.
Maybe a quarter
so
inch
much you
wide.
can do with it. Yeah, it's so, and it's not too thick. I have some thick ones that are like, that's dumb. It's the perfect amount of resistance that allows you to move through an exercise or use it for stretching. Even it's so smart. Very good.
Yeah. Thank you. And like you said, there's a bunch of different resistance bands, and some people want a little bit heavier. Some people want a little bit lighter. But I wanted to make it one of the lighter ones, just so it's more accessible to everybody.
Yep.
And you can build some strength with the kit, but that's not necessarily the purpose. It's more just lighter to get those muscles warmed up and firing. If you really wanted to build some strength using a resistance band, there's other like heavier ones that you can get. So
exactly.
And then the next one is a hip band. It goes around the knees, can go around the ankle.
We call it a booty band in the business.
Booty band,
He probably doesn't want to say booty, but this is one of our favorites.
It's a fabric band as opposed to the rubber.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's fabric,
so
and it's great for activating the glutes.
Mm-hmm. Doesn't stretch as much as the rubber one. It serves a different purpose. Really great for lower body. Kind of those side shuffles. Think about how much we do lateral movements we do in pickleball. One of my favorites is monster walks, where you're kind of walking and stepping diagonally. And again, just thinking about how many times you're going for a dink, you're hitting a drop, you're stepping back, you're stepping forward. So this just does a really great job of mimicking all of those movements, but just providing a little bit of resistance to get those muscles firing, that blood flowing there. And also really good for kind of I feel like I'm seeing it everywhere. Like the buzzword in the fitness industry now is, is your hips, right? Is like opening up the hips, strengthening the hips. So obviously hip band or booty band, whichever one we want to call it, but that's, good for, I have a 3-way kick in there. That's good for strengthening those hips and opening those up and getting that blood flow going there. So,
and don't sleep on that for upper body either, because when I was in rehab for my shoulder, they had me put it around my arms, pull my arms apart, and then move my arms up and down. To strengthen. Like there's so much there. Like, when I saw your bag, I'm like, he's got years and years of content in this one little bag.
And like you guys are saying, like there's so much versatility with all of these tools. And every Thursday, I put out a bonus exercise because I kind of give out the 15 as the routine, but so many different exercises you can do with this. So I want to just kind of give people another opportunity, like, hey, you have some shoulder issues. We can use this to do some shoulder prehab or rehab, or we can do some different movements, some different stretches in addition to that warm up. So.
And you have that on your Instagram page, Crate, on Pickleball Seatbelt. Okay, awesome.
Correct.
We'll put that in the link in the bio as well.
Perfect.
And we'll also tag it in the videos on Instagram,
awesome.
So you can just go over to your page.
So where can they go ahead and finish up what you were, put all the things in the bag first, and then I'll ask you.
Sure.
Sorry, I jumped ahead of myself.
My personal favorite here is I'll kind of back it up here a little bit so you can get the full picture, but it's the portable mobility bar. And so whole kit is meant to be just in your pickleball bag, so you can take it wherever you go, right to the court.
Down.
So this breaks down.
So easy.
And I mean, I within the past couple months, I started using a stick for stretching. So I have like a PVC pipe in my living room that just stays there. And then, when I'm watching TV or doing whatever, like I'll use the PVC pipe to do some stretching. But I don't want to take that big long stick, to the courts with me. So that's where this guy comes in. And there's just so much you can do with this in terms of just simply using the leverage of the bar. So, a really good shoulder stretch is this guy here, and not doing anything fancy, but you're just using the leverage that you're creating from the bar to deepen that stretch and help you create a little bit more of mobility and flexibility. So this guy I really love. I use it, every time I'm out there and kind of in between games, and even when I'm back home. So highly recommend this guy as well. Yeah.
I was excited to see that in there because I'm a big advocate of the stick mobility, company, and I train a lot of my clients with those, and boy, the stick helps a lot. So thanks for making that broken down.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
And then lastly, the lacrosse ball or massage ball here. And it's just this guy. I mean, it's magic for like sore and tight muscles. I get a tight lower back, so that I just laying on the ground, digging that in there, or it's also been good for plantar fasciitis, just kind of stepping on that, putting your weight on that. Really helps alleviate some of that pain, but really good for just relieving, kind of giving some pain relief for sore and tight muscles. So
there is nothing you left out of that bag, and everything you put in that bag is also multi-purpose. So there's so much you can. Every single tool in there has more than one purpose. So you didn't leave. Like Tammy and I talk all the time about starting with your feet, like foam rolling your feet. Like you covered everything. So well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah.
Josh, can I ask you how you came up with the name Pickleball Seatbelt?
Yes. So whenever people ask that, my question to them is, when you drove in or last time you drove, did you wear your seatbelt?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we all did, right? And why do we wear our seatbelt? Because we know that it's safe, right? We want to prevent injury. We want to keep ourselves safe. We want to keep our loved ones safe. Well, same thing with pickleball, right? A warm up is that seatbelt, right? It's something that we should be doing every time that we go out on the court. We are staying safe. We're doing what should be just a natural habit for us, and doing that all with the purpose of preventing injury and reducing our own risk of injury.
So smart.
Yeah.
Very well done.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Where can we find, go ahead and give us your website, all your handles, all the things. I'll put the link in the bio too, but just for refresher.
Yeah. So you can order it at pickleballseatbelt.com, and then Instagram, and also TikTok, the Pickleball Seatbelt. So,
how does TikTok work for you? Is it good?
You know what? It's funny. So I'm learning all of the social media. I never had any social media. Like I never had Instagram, Facebook, anything. And then when I started the business, I was, obviously it's like, have to get it out there. I got to market it. So I'm still very much learning all of that aspect of it. But TikTok, from kind of the wise words of folks around me, people are saying, hey, that's the way to get the message out there, because that's how people just kind of send things out and the message gets out. So I'm excited to get a little bit more on TikTok, been a lot of Instagram, but going to be kind of panning out here and spreading out over the next couple weeks. So
good for you. Did you start playing pickleball during the pandemic?
It was actually a year before, so the summer before.
Look at early adapter.
Yeah, I know. I kind of hit it up before the whole trend started. But
did you play it at school? Did they have it at school, or is this something that you just recreational?
Yeah. So I learned, my first time I played it was in high school, and we had like a PE unit about it, and then I hadn't played it for years, and then I went to it's about, I would say 6 or 7 years later, I went to a buddy's beach house, and they had a community that had pickleball courts there, and so him and we just went and we played every day for like a week. Then I came back home and I was like, oh, I gotta find some courts. So on my way to work, it really is, yeah. I found some courts that I always saw people playing there. And so I went and was like, hey, can I join you guys? Can you guys show me this? And it was actually a new beginners camp, or like clinic. So I was like, oh, this is perfect. And so I was like, can I join? And they're like, well, you look athletic enough. How about you just help us teach the camp? And I was like, well, I've never played. I played for like a week. And they're like, you'll learn. So I kind of learned by just like teaching alongside them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So
what are your top 3 reasons why you just love pickleball?
First one is just I love doing active things. Like I would much rather than go out and get drinks or do something. I would much rather be doing something active, playing pickleball. And it kind of it's very social too. Like I've met so many good people. A lot of people who I consider very close friends now. I've just met through pickleball. A lot of opportunities. I mentioned I was a high school teacher, so I'm now trying to get pickleball clubs started in the high school and around the area. We actually had a tournament with 6 different schools and about 60 kids that I put on last year. It's awesome just to see the kids compete and just learning and growing and having fun with it. And then lastly, it keeps me from having to do cardio, or it's a lot more fun cardio than like having to run on a treadmill. So I will do that every day over running on the treadmill. So yeah.
Oh, that's funny. It's so funny because I agree with so much that you said. For me, it's besides it being like the athletic component of it, like the competitive, I love to be active and I love to be competitive, and it checks that box. But my backstory is too, Josh, I moved to Texas 2 years ago and didn't know anyone except for my kids. And I have met the best group of women. I found my tribe through pickleball. Like you kind of see on the court who's who, what's what. And then once you see, oh, they celebrate that way. Oh, they talk that way.
Yeah.
Oh, they drink beer while they play. I mean, like you find these groups, like when you're, so it took me about 6 months. And for about 6 months, I'm like, okay, this group, like these are my people. You find your people.
Yeah, just good people who are all there to have fun and compete and yeah, it's awesome for sure.
Yeah. Well,
I
good.
agree. Well, awesome. I'm so glad you came on the show. We're going to tag all of your links in our bio and when we post on social media and on YouTube. So we were just so impressed, Kimberly and I, because we almost feel like a one-man army, like a two-woman army, I should say. Because, and there is I do see a few more people talking about this on social media, but it's not as big a deal as it should be. And
yeah,
people see us do this and they still don't join in, which is bizarre to me. Like, you're literally going from the car to the court and you're playing like an athlete, and you did nothing to mimic the moves you're going to do for the next 2 hours.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, like, I'm a football coach, and I think a lot of people have played youth sports and high school sports and maybe competed at the college level. You see the pros, like, at every level. What do athletes do before practice and before games? Is they warm up. Like, as a coach, I would never send my kids out without a proper warm up. But folks who are 10, 20, 30 years older, just go out and we just do it, right? Like,
so I mean, wild.
It's just,
but that's why orthopedic surgeons are seeing way more pickleball people than any other sport. So you've got to learn to take care of yourself prior to getting on the courts. So this is great. I had mentioned this when we started this whole podcast to Barbara. I said, oh my God, Barbara, we could put together a whole kit for people to warm up. Ta-da. There you go. Now we don't have to do it.
We don't even need to. Like, that's what I love so much about the internet. Like, we don't even need to invent this because someone did, and we're going to share it. And what I like about it too, really quick, is it's in my car all the time. And so it goes into the pickleball courts with me. So, and I know there's some opportunity there as well for you, because like the Pickler where I play pickleball, they have like they have a little stretch corner that has gear in it. What they need is to sell the gear to people so people don't steal their gear. So, I mean, good on you. I love the entrepreneurship in your brain. And I love the fact that you're a school teacher and a football coach and a pickleball enthusiast like us.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thanks so much for coming on the show, Josh.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks
we appreciate it.
Really appreciate it.
Yeah. Have a great week, everyone.
Thank you.
You
Best
too.
of luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.